Hello everyone, welcome back to Magic the Gathering Arena. More quick draft. What is this format called? Dominaria United. On my losingest account, the account that loses every draft. Let's see if we can turn that around. Defiler of Flesh. I mean, all the Defilers are quite good. You know, some are better than others. This obviously the green one is insane. The others are all like fine, I think. They're good. I'm gonna take this. It is a little tempting to take Tatyova, but I've played the Tatyova deck so many times. I don't know. It would be exciting to like pick up an actual good rare for a change, so that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, we could take a black card in this pack. We could take Splatter Goblin. But actually, I think Rona's Vortex is probably a good pick here. Solid removal with Kicker in our color. The other thing is, like, we could take Balmor to be open to, like, we don't know yet what righty's taking. If righty is taking all the black cards, then aiming for black is going to be bad. If he's taking, like, the red and blue cards, then aiming for Balmor is going to be bad. But unless he's taking, like, two of those colors, we should be fine with one of these, right? On the other hand, Rona's Vortex kind of fits into both decks. It doesn't fit as well into the Balmor deck, like, not by a mile. Specifically because it's not Balmor, I guess. But I'd like to take this and still, like, make a little progress towards my black dream, I think. There's Rona, the blue-black card, but I'm pretty sure Extinguish the Light is better. It's good news that we're seeing that, actually, right? It means that there's at least been... This has gone through a couple people who both didn't take Extinguish the Light. A pretty solid black card. So I'm optimistic that we're going to get some black stuff now. And we've seen some good blues in those packs as well. This is not the day for a Joda's Codex, I don't think. I don't know, everything else here sucks. Like, Phyrexian Vivisector is fine. I wouldn't mind having it in a deck, but I'm not, like, dying for it. I don't know. Joda's Codex, I don't think I'm going to be in a domain deck. Give me the Vivisector. The land is also not crazy, but I don't think it's good. Told you, the bots always pass Niall. What is this Weatherlight thing? This is bad, right? Yeah. I mean, I have seen one person play this and have it be good, but it is not very common. Just another Vivisector or a wall? Blue-black. What does blue-black do in this format? I mean, it has like an Instants and Sorceries theme with Fohar and Rona, right? It also has a walls theme. I guess we're probably supposed to take the barricade. This is especially good if we get something like the Cult Conscript. There's another Rona. A Choking Miasma, which not generally that good of a card. Especially if we're not in green. Yeah, I think I'll just take the Necromass. Well, no, hang on. I mean, am I taking Rona? This is the second one we've seen. See, this says black, not like spells that are only black or something, right? Yeah. So it does work with Rona. I mean, blue-black is definitely very control-y in the format. This card notwithstanding, which is this, like, total aggro card. I mean, I'm still not really married to blue. I just have this one blue card. I think it's better to take the Writhing Necromass, which is always good. Wow. Isn't Queen all in all? I guess it's not. It's no King Darien, I guess. What? I think we take this and see if maybe we're supposed to be in red-black. Like, Bone Splinters is okay. We don't really have any activators for it yet. We might get some, but we might not. Or Electrostatic Infantry is just an insane card. The fact that it's still here says we should be strongly considering red. And I haven't, like, I mean, I don't know. There have been a couple blue cards I thought of taking, but clearly, since Pack 2, I haven't taken anything blue. So I don't think we should really be thinking that hard about playing in blue. Now we have a choice of 3 reasonable cards. I think the Necromass is generally better than the Monstrosity. Monstrosity is pretty hard to activate. I don't think I want another Barricade more than a Necromass. Rager. The Rager from Pack 1 Wield. Amazing. There's nobody else taking any black cards in this whole pod. I don't think we're going to be doing any, like, domain stuff or any particularly aggressive stuff. This is just like a 5-mana 4/4. Not very good. I think, like, actually, maybe we just take the Toxic Abomination, right? The Thrill of Possibility is nice, but we don't really know we're in red. We do know we're in black. We could use some more 2-drops. Sure. Rona Wheels. I mean, that's not that surprising, but it does mean blue is still sort of an option. The Codex Wheels. These bots are bizarre. Okay. Negate is fine. Pretty sure I don't want Miasma. Squee. Okay. On the other hand, there is Rager. How much does Squee play into our plan? I mean, not much, right? We have some... I don't know. Like, he messes up our Necromasses, for one thing. Or they're fighting for the use of our graveyard. And, you know, it's fine, but we're not that aggressive. So, I don't think we want that. I think we just want a Rager. The Thrall to the Pit is interesting, right? Don't I have something here that wants sacrifice? Or I guess because, well, okay, the Vivisector does a little bit. I guess it's like because I took infantry, I was thinking I might want like red cards, and the red-black theme is sacrifice, but I don't actually have any sacrifice cards. Wow. Knight of Dusk's Shadow. Although, Tribute to Urborg? No, I don't really know that I'm in blue. And this card's just so good. Maybe we could run mono black. How many black cards do I have? Well, that number is not useful because it includes... Okay, but I have 10 mono black cards. It does seem possible. This is a decent combat trick. It's not the best card in the pack. The blue cards and the red cards are both better. I don't think we should run mono black. I don't think there's a good excuse for that. Well, we only got this one red card, right? This one Electrostatic Infantry. I don't think that's strong enough evidence that we should be in red. Whereas there's some solid blue stuff here that I think we should take. Airtie's Scorn. I don't know if I want a double blue card. Micromancer for Vortex is something. Geyser is probably pretty good, although I can't kick it. Could take the Black Flyer. Don't think I want it. Do I want a Counterspell? It would be okay, I guess. Do I want a Micromancer? Not really. Well, I kind of do. I don't know. I only have one drop spell instant. I think just take the geyser. It's relatively safe. Even if you can't kick it, it's good tempo. Could take the black-white land. I don't have any reason to have white mana right now. Codex, I guess. Don't think we're running that, though. Yeah, you know, maybe instead of speculating on blue or red, I should take the worst black card. Because this is not that great for the deck. This is kind of nice to keep alive our Defiler. And, like, we can have some cool menace turns with it. Right? So, I'll take the Battle Rage Blessing. More Necromasses on offer. Combat Research seems awful. Could take a Shore Up. Probably better than a third Necromass, right? I don't know. Menace Death Touch creatures are kind of insane, especially when they're 5/5s. And with the Defiler of Flesh, it can be that. Yeah, it's probably better than Shore Up. We just gotta go creature heavy is all, he says, taking an instant, or a sorcery. It's an instant. Actually, we could take the Scavenger, just to have, like, more 3s. I think that's good. This is gonna be pretty mediocre draw, which is fine. But this is like a creature that scries. I think I'd rather have that. Sideboard Momentum. Take Warhorse in case I come up with some way to kick it. Doesn't seem very good. Take the land. In case I have something I want to kick red, maybe? Like Balduvian Atrocity or something? I guess the land. Essence Scatter is good. Urborg Repossession is probably better, even without green mana, right? We have a couple of pretty nice creatures we'd like to pick up. Yeah. Airtie's Scorn is fine. Academy Wall, and we don't really have the deck for that. I have one red land. It's not really worth running Thrall to the Pit, I don't think. Do I want a Soaring Drake to give me some flying, like evasive damage? I have plenty of Menace. I don't think I need evasive damage. But it's probably more likely to be played than Thrall to the Pit, right? Impulse is fine. Here's something we could kick red, I guess. But I'd rather have the Impulse. The Micromancer wield, and it's suddenly looking a little better with an Urborg Repossession in there. And a Shore Up. Vohar's, you know, right up my alley, I think. Although there's a lot of stuff that's right up my alley in here. I have 13 creatures. And 9. Okay, what I meant to look at was instants and sorceries. I have 8 instants and 1 sorcery. So, like, Tolarian Terror and Vohar both care about that, right? Rager and Extinguish the Light are just generally good. Do I have removal other than the one Extinguish the Light? I have a Rona's Vortex. Battle Rage's Blessing kind of is removal-ish. It's a combat trick. So, no, it's not removal at all. The answer is no. I have some counter spells, but I don't have. I just have like one Extinguish the Light, one Rona's Vortex for removal. So I could certainly go for some more. But I don't really... Oh, man. I wish I could take all 4 of these cards. What does the deck need? That's something I don't really know. Like, are we lacking win conditions? We have the Defiler of Flesh and some Necromasses. That's a way to win. Rona can win a little bit. The Ragers and the Shadow Prophecy draw for us. But they don't really win. Like, we counter all their stuff. Knight of Dusk's Shadow can win. The Necromasses can kind of win, although not very well. With the Defiler of Flesh, we do have ways to win for sure. Rona, can do a little damage, but we don't have that many instants or sorceries. I think we're supposed to win by, like, outvaluing them? Maybe? No, out-tempoing them? Like, counter their stuff and play Ragers? Ragers aren't tempo, they're value. I don't know, we have, like, kind of a mishmash of everything. And so I don't really know what we need more of. I mean, there's that old rubric, bread, right? Bombs, removal, evasion. What is A again? Aggro. And I don't know what D is. Duds, dummies, dreck. That's, you know, anything that's none of those things. So we don't have any bombs here. Therefore, we should probably prioritize removal. And it's decent removal. And, you know, the other options are also decent. Maybe they're insane in this deck and I just don't know it, but I think I'm taking the removal. Did I end up taking something that just kicks white? I don't think I did, right? I was thinking of taking Tolarian Geyser, but I didn't take it. That said, in this pack, I think I will take a black-white land because everything else sucks. I don't really need another Shore Up or another Toxic Abomination. Maybe we'll find a reason to run some white. Okay, here I'm very happy to see a Tolarian Terror. I think we have plenty of instants for that to be a thing. I guess there is also the Soul Tender. To, like, get the Defiler back. But I think just, like, give me a chonky 5/5. Okay. The Warleech is nice. I like that. That's a way to win. It's a damn 4-mana 7/7. I could take a Geyser. We do have a white land. Could also take another Battle Rage Blessing. I think that's probably good, actually. We're kind of creature focused here, and Baltuvian Atrocity I don't think is any good here. I mean, it's fine. It's a menace creature. And I could conceivably kick something. What do I want that has mana value 3 or less? Rager? I guess getting Ragers back with this is pretty nice. Anyway, there were no other picks in that pack, so I'll pick it and figure out whether to cut it later. Warhorse, I mean, we could kick it, but I don't even really care that much. I'll take another Scorn, I guess. It's surely not Pilfer. But also not more Battle Rage Blessing. I guess I'll just sideboard the Pilfer. Another Rager is lovely. No more Shore Ups, please. Splatter Goblin's good. Lets me maybe cut the Abomination. Tattered Apparition, a potential win condition. I guess I'll put it in. I don't imagine I'm going to keep it, though. So, some cuts to make for sure. Nothing I wanted to put back in, right? Yeah. Okay. So it's just a matter of finding like 7 cards to cut and then cutting a land as well, I assume. Mana value is 3.3, although that's including full value for the Necromancers and the Terrors. My biggest concern is we might have too many non-creatures. I think that's what we need to prioritize getting rid of here. We do have stuff like Rona that wants us to play them, but not really all that many. And we have like Necromass that cares about creatures getting into the graveyard. Phyrexian Vivisector wants creatures in the graveyard. So I think we wound up with plenty of 3s. We can toss that out. I think we really do not need the Apparition. I guess I just cut a bunch of creatures after saying I should cut non-creatures, huh? Oops. Clicked outside the window there. Are we really so control-y that we should be running, like, 3 counterspells? I assume not. And if I'm not running those, I probably shouldn't run the Impulse either. Like, let's just cut all the instant... The blue control-y instants. And now it's a much more reasonable mix of creatures and non-creatures. We still have... some instants and sorceries, so Rona is going to be fine. Tolarian Terror is going to be fine. Cut a Battle Rage Blessing? Now that I've cut all these things, I'm realizing that, like, it looked like I had a bunch of 2s, and I actually didn't. What I had was a bunch of instant speed interaction on 2, and so putting back in the Abominations actually makes a lot of sense to me. The Barricade never really turned into anything, right? I don't have anything that wants to be sacrificed. I don't have a way to take stuff from opponent and then sacrifice it. Let's get rid of the Barricade. What else can we cut? Shadow Prophecy? Maybe 3 Ragers, Atrocity, and Micromancer is enough draw? Yeah, that seems true enough, I guess. Plus we have value with our board repossession anyway. Okay, so it's a very black deck with a few blue cards. And the mana base reflects that as it... Hang on. Did you sneak more lands in here? I cut one a minute ago. Or I was thinking of cutting one, and then maybe I said, wait a minute, look at how expensive my cards are. Yeah, maybe actually don't cut a land, run 17. I don't know. I think you're supposed to pretty much always run 16 on Arena because of the... in Quick Draft, anyway. Or in... I guess I should say in Best of 1, because they have the bias shuffling for turn 1. So... that means I can put a card back. Maybe another Battle Rage Blessing? Or draw, but I think Battle Rage Blessing is fine. Maybe another Shore Up, actually? Yeah, that's probably good. No, because Battle Rage Blessing is so good with Menace. And especially with Menace Death Touch. Well, okay, actually, Battle Rage Blessing is better with Menace non-Death Touch because it surprises them with the Death Touch. Okay, let's give this a try. Hang on, I should look a little bit more... Did I get the curve right? I think I have a lot of kind of top-end-ish stuff, even though the deck doesn't go that high. I have a lot of 4s, and I worry about that a little. But I guess 4 is basically the top end of the deck. All these 7s I want to cast for 4 or less. So I think that's fine. Alright, let's give it a try. It's Darth Avail. Avail? 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 Oh. I didn't cut this, huh? Do I have anything that kicks white? I don't think I do. So this should just be a swamp. Right? Let me just check the deck real quick. I could have taken a horse, but I didn't. Oh, I guess I could put in the Codex if I really wanted value. But anyway, there's no reason for this not to be a swamp. If it were a swamp, I could play the Tributary and then play a swamp. Well, I drew a swamp, so I guess that's what I'll do. Play Tributary and then swamp. Domain stuff? Probably? Every green deck really should be domain the way the bots are drafting. It shouldn't just be like green-white tokens, I would think. But it's possible. Yeah, there's black. I don't recognize these lands. What set is that? I don't know this symbol. There's a lot of symbols I don't know. That's one of them. I guess just swing for 4 here. Look at me, I'm a domain deck too. I said 4, it's 3, obviously. So they have 3 colors so far. I mean, I guess we just swing here and Battle Rage Blessing kills both of them if they block. Otherwise I get in 4 damage. And this is not that weird an attack. I might be willing to try to trade this for the 1/1. I guess I wouldn't. That would be horrible. My creature's way better than a 1/1. Has Menace. You gotta block with both. Okay. Well, I mean, we did 2-for-1 them. We killed 2 of their 3-drops with a 2-drops, but with a 2-cost instant. And I'm glad to have done so, because now, like, Aaron can't sack them, but Aaron is still scary. Oh, perfect time to draw that. I guess if they flashed in Resolute Reinforcements, I would be disappointed, but I don't really believe that's going to happen. Yeah, get that stuff into my graveyard. Yum, yum, yum. Although, turns out only 1 creature. But it was enough that next turn we can cast a Necromass, right? So, can't be too mad. Nice mana rock when you have a legendary on the board. That's weird. Could it really be Resolute Reinforcements? Because they could activate Resolute Reinforcements, flash in the 2 blockers, declare blockers, and then tap Aaron to sacrifice something, right? I guess if they do that, that's fine. And if they just have an ordinary combat trick that trades for one of these creatures, that's fine too. I'm splashing all the colors except the one that I actually would want to splash for Urborg Repossession. Okay. Just an ordinary combat trick. Take up the shield, I guess. Battle Rage Blessing. Okay. No problem. Like I said, I knew they could do that, and I just don't mind. What do you think? Pick this back up? I think there's better things to get than this leech. Don't appreciate that. Well, how big can I make this? I have 6 mana. I can make it a 5/5, so not big enough. Although, they would have to double block, so it still trades for Aaron, right? That's fine. And in the meantime, I get in 5 damage if that's how they decide to block. Oh, I could pick up the Rager. I forgot about that. I don't think I will. We're just going to overwhelm them with a limitless supply of 5/5 Death Touchers. Limitless is like 3 or 4, depending on if we draw another one. Another mana does help, so I'll play that. Because this could actually be a 6/6, so if they double block, they lose both creatures. Or at least they have to spend a combat trick to not lose both. Gotta watch Auto Tapper, but it's doing fine. It tapped 2 black early on, which made me a little nervous, but we have plenty of black that we could do that. Ooh. Okay. Well, I mean, that's not that impressive, honestly. It trades pretty well into my 5/5 Death Touch, but it did 3 damage to them. And they know we can just follow up with more creatures. Or at least 1. As it happens, we actually have 2, but they didn't know that yet. Love to see them play the land face up. What can this get? Rona's Vortex, which is lethal. Alright, good enough. The win condition is just like 5/5s and 2/2s. Where's my Symmetry Sage? All my good creatures are symmetrical today. Alright, so let's go take this stupid black-white land out of the deck and just put in another plains or swamp. We could put in an island, but I think we want to bias towards swamps in this deck. 7-9 makes more sense than 8-8 when we have only 5 blue cards and 20 black cards, including several double pips. Is there anything else I was supposed to do? I don't think so. We could run, right, we could run the Codex. I don't think we need it. But, I mean, hang on. What if we, like, if we put the black-white land back in, it's not dragging the deck down too much. And then we could potentially have a domain of up to 4. I don't know. I think it's just, I can't really cut any of my creatures to run this super slow thing. SB-C? So it's like, usually you would spell out hyphen with like the hyphen character. Look at this. I put 9-6 or 9-7 in the deck and I still didn't hit any black. Well, I can't keep this, obviously. This I can keep. I think we toss back the repossession. It can still be fetched back up by Micromancers, so we're not losing it forever. We obviously want the Ragers. Battle Rage Blessing is not amazing, but neither is Repossession, right? In the early game. And we do want this for something to build towards. Uh-oh. That's... I don't really want to face a fast deck when I don't have anything to play. They missed their 2-drop, but I missed my land on 3, which is pretty bad. Splatter Goblin quite good here, actually. Because if it runs into anything, it can at least kill their 1/1. Although they might not even mind that their 1/1 dies, because it can just come back relatively cheaply as a 2/2. Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna Rager myself in the face. Gotta get those draws. Hopefully land, yeah. It's not clear how I ever deal with flyers. I mean, there's stuff in my deck. Rona's Vortex, 2 Extinguish the Light. Ooh. So 3... If I block here, which is the efficient thing to do, I take 6. 5. That's a lot. But if I block here and take 7, that's just too greedy, right? I think so. Killing the 1/1 bird actually sucks. They just get it back, like, very easily. Okay. This one, I guess. I suppose I could have shored up to keep it alive. That seems kind of foolish. Because I sort of wanted it to die anyway. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it was right not to shore that up, as it turns out. Why are you main phasing that? Okay, Rona's Vortex. I mean, we're still dead, right? I can Vortex their 2/2 away if I want. And take 3 damage? I guess that's what I have to do. I can't play this. If they never play anything again, and I draw Extinguish the Light next turn, I could live. I could win the game. Obviously, it's unlikely they're going to play nothing ever again. Oh, I took 2, not 3. Right. Which means I don't have to draw Extinguish the Light this turn. I have to draw it by next turn. And also have them never do anything again. Alright, GG. There was a turn earlier when I attacked with... I think it was the Goblin, right? Or maybe it was the No, it was the Goblin. And then they... like, kicked a Keldon Strike team, right? Oh, that doesn't kill me. And they got in with a bunch of damage. It would have been way better for me if I'd left the Splatter Goblin back. Oh, let's go out on my own terms, shall I? So maybe it was too greedy to be attacking in this situation. It probably was. I just forgot about hasters as a possible thing. Basically. Well, unlucky draw against a deck that was tough to deal with anyway. By the way, I guess I should re-roll this. Yeah. We're not going to have a good time against red-white. I don't know. I mean, if we make it to 3 mana relatively quickly, we can play Ragers, which are pretty good against that, sort of. Right? They get 2-for-1 value, but they also do shoot you in the face. Usually you're not too concerned about 1 damage, which is why Rager is so good, but against red-white you kind of are. Coral Senpai. Don't know what that means. Great. Splatter Goblin into Rager. It's kind of what the deck wants to do. It's red-white again, huh? Okay, well, I have a good blocker for that at least. Might actually be wise not to trade here. Maybe I should have attacked. Because presumably they're going to play something else, and it might very well have only 2 toughness. And then the Splatter Goblin can block that, and 2-for-1 them is the threat. Oh. Wow. That's serious. Okay, well, I guess if I can't do that, I'll just block here. That's fine. I'm not going to wait for Battle Rage Blessing. I really would love to kick this, but I think that's probably greedy. I should just play it out as a 3/3. By the way, what is with all these lands? Because that would mean that, like, next turn I would have Battle Rage Blessing available. But I don't know. Actually, I think kicking it is... It helps with it and also with, like, Urborg Repossession and the Necromasses. I think we actually do have to wait on this. It's a pretty greedy play. I don't know. But it makes it much more likely that this is a 7/7. Well, it makes it possible. Right now, it's not possible. And a 7/7 would be a great help. Got one. And the next Necromass is going to be much easier to cast. Although I guess that doesn't matter because we keep drawing land. So yeah, I think discard 2 cards. Oh, I would love to. I think waiting a turn to get a 7/7 instead of a 3/3 has paid off. I mean, you might as well as attack, right? I might not ever play this, I guess. If they're the kind of person who runs Progressive Sabotage, they might run more stuff. And it might just be nice to have a land sitting in hand for any discard spells. I mean, where it is slow, like it's a tap land, and so if I get Balduvian Atrocity, I'll want to play this. I'll be like, oh, I wish I'd played it last turn. But that's only one card in the deck. Vortex. I could Vortex this, I suppose. Double block is fine with me if that's what you want to do, and if you don't, that's also fine. Nothing in black or white really has anything to do about Vortex. So I could do it in their upkeep or now. I don't think it makes much difference. You know what? Let's play this. I don't know. If I had played it last turn, I'd be holding up Battle Rage Blessing now in case they have removal. So a turn like that could happen again, in which case I'll want this on the field. That's a little unpleasant. Oh, but they don't get right. The card we just exiled is on the bottom of their library, so they can't get it back. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can play this pre-combat. I'll Battle Rage Blessing to kill the Missionary, I think. I don't know. I could have just not attacked with this, but 3 damage is 3 damage, right? I don't know. It's probably bad, because now they have an attack with this. Although, I don't know. Do they want to make that attack? I guess not. Okay, I was right to attack, it turns out. But now the attack is bad, so we'll wait on it. Really? Interesting. I guess they must be picking that back up? But there's not even anything else in the graveyard to retrieve. What's the point? They just wanted the life now instead of later? It seems bizarre. That was a useful blocker that was deterring attacks with this stuff. Decline? Presumably that's their only removal for this, because if they had more, they would have played it previously. Ah, missionary to pick up another missionary. Very nice. I see. That's a problem. Or is it? I mean, they can play this one to pick that one back up, but they're not gaining life while they do it. And rather, they're taking a bunch of damage. Oh, they're just giving up. Great! We got them. So, yeah, I think I'm firmly in favor of the play that I decided to get a 7/7 worm instead of a 3/3 worm. There's a big difference between those stat lines. It was greedy, but I needed the greed because there was nothing else in my deck. There was nothing else I drew all game was going to win the way that worm won. I would have just been drowned in Phyrexian missionary value if I hadn't done that. Fine. I have a 2 and a 3. That's all the deck wants to do. Is this better than Splatter Goblin or worse, do you think? Sometimes it's better and sometimes it's worse, of course, is the right answer. But like on balance, usually you're happier to have a Splatter Goblin in your deck, I think. Because it has the potential to 2-for-1, which this can't. And often the stats don't matter, but the face damage sometimes does. Really, it's like often neither of them matters, but which one matters more often, I don't know. Right here, a 3/2, like, doesn't trade for the Pixie, so that's kind of something. On the other hand, a 2/1 could have traded for their next card and then also the Pixie. Shore up? No, you would never. What do you think? Do we save this? I don't think so. I think we just play a Rager. Who plays Artillery Blast? Nobody, that's who. Well, I've taken a lot more damage than they have. Both of us are trying to kill me. If they used to... I don't know. I'm sure there was some, like, you know, saying like that in the Magic community because everything from Hearthstone is borrowed from Magic, but I don't know it. You know, there was a joke in Hearthstone early on, and maybe later, who knows, that the Warlock versus Hunter match is tough because both players are trying to kill the Warlock. Warlock's class ability was to do 2 damage to itself and draw, whereas the Hunter's class ability is to do 2 damage to the enemy hero. And there's kind of a feeling of that too, where they're hitting me with flyers. That seems pretty good. And I'm hitting myself in the face. What do you want that 1/1 on blocks for? That's spooky. They can't Artillery Blast again, for what that's worth. I guess they have some trick, which is fine. I'll just Battle Rage Blessing. They're making new mana. Interesting. They are gonna... they're gonna Artillery Blast me again. I think that is fine. I still want to use these in combat to kill a creature and save a creature. And I don't really mind scrying, I think. And I'd like to Extinguish the Light this turn instead of next. Right? So I take 3 damage again. I'm down pretty low. And it might be awkward to use both of these on the same turn. I think you can have it. Right? Ugh. But I have 2 of these, and they might be tough to get any value out of otherwise. I think I have to do this. I need to be pushing enough damage that they're, like, a little bit afraid of me. I can't just be taking 3 and doing, like, nothing. They're gonna have more removal. I'm gonna just, like, counter it again. That's fine with me, I guess. It's not how you want to use this spell, but I guess it's what I'm doing. Yeah, okay, that's why they killed this one, because they could put this one back in my hand where it'll do damage to me again. Very funny. And I guess before it's their turn, before they can untap, I need to Extinguish the Light here. Ugh. Well, that's what Battle Rage Blessing is for, I guess. I have 5 mana, so I can't play both of these and also Battle Rage Blessing. This attack would look very suspicious. I think I'm going to do it anyway, because I can play a blocker and still, like, be doing the same basic thing. They know I have this creature, and so I really am, like, screaming that I have a combat trick here. But they already knew that. It's not like I'm giving away this information by holding up the mana. The attack gave the information away already. Well, they're dead in 2 turns. If I just pump this twice, right? And I think it's more important to hold shore up than it is to hit myself in the head for 2. Well, I can only pump 3 times, and so they don't actually have to block this. If they did have to block, then I could swing here as well, because they'd be double blocking this, but now if I attack, there's some possibility that they just, like, block here. Although if they do that, I'm going to kill them soon with Rona. go in for this, I guess. I have Shore Up, I guess, if they try that. I don't know. They could be holding something up. I don't think they are, because last turn it passed for them instantly, and then they drew, I think, the Drake and played it. So I know they played the Drake. I think they drew the Drake. So I think this is safe enough. It's holding priority for them because of Pixie. But they, you know, could have something else as well. Yeah. All right. That buys them a little time. Now, the Geyser is what they drew. But what did they draw off Geyser? Was it that Plains, or did they already have that? I'm not quite sure. Oh, that gained them some life as well, so they have a little bit more wiggle room now. And we're probably not playing either of these cards ever, because I can just use them to activate Rona, if they can remove her. Okay. Well, the early game felt a little bit worrying as I was taking a bunch of damage, but the Battle Rage Blessings were pretty good, I think. I don't know. I used one of them just to counter Artillery Blast, which feels a little weak. But the other one killed a Tolarian Terror. What more can you ask for, right? Oh no, I clicked outside the window. What a fool. Exorg. This is fine. I can't play the Terror, but like even if I had an island, I couldn't play the Terror because it costs 7. So we're just gonna like play black cards and draw a mountain event or an island eventually. Oof, that's a good one. I mean, I guess actually Battle Rage Blessing deals with it quite nicely, but I'll play the Rager out first. Gotta keep drawing, curving, etc. If they attack, I obviously let it in, but I also threaten to crack back for 4, so they might not want to do that. If they do. Gonna remove the 2/2 and swing in for 5? That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was too greedy attacking there. I dealt 4 damage and suffered 3 as a result. Obviously, you know, if you look at it, that looks like a positive trade, but, you know, against this deck, you do need to be a little cautious. Could pick up a Rager and play it again. I don't think I will. No attacks? I mean, I was thinking give this Death Touch and Lifelink. And then it'll kill this. Death Touch and Indestructible. It'll kill this. And then when it dies, it'll kill this. But of course, if I'm giving Indestructible, it won't die. I think this block is fine. If they try to stop the Battle Rage Blessing by blowing this up, I do have a Shore Up. So I think this is likely to resolve. Good. Now, I could pick that thing back up, but I would much rather play a 5/5 Death Toucher. Swing? Let's say swing. They can block and pump, but they still die, so I'm just going to go for this. I'm doing 2 damage, and I might take 3 as a result if I get punished somehow, but we'll just assume this works, because they didn't have anything that could deal with that last turn, and this is a much bigger creature than that was. Although, Destroy Evil, I guess. Yeah, whoops. Okay, maybe not such a great attack. I'm doing it again, though. This time, surely. Oops. That time I clicked out the window accidentally. No. Let's just tell them real loud that I have Shore Up. Since Autotap wanted to hold up Urborg Repossession instead. Which, I mean, it can't know. That's fine. But I wish there was some way I could say, like, tap all these 4 swamps, but make it look like Autotap did it, right? Because I kind of feel like when you're tapping mana, right, you, these abilities do not use the stack, and so opponents can't respond to them and so on. Pretty good worm already. And so I kind of feel like they should just be... Like, you can even undo. I can tap this and say, no, never mind. I feel like opponents shouldn't see you make that decision. They should see all at once all the lands you tapped produce their mana as if Auto Tapper had done it. I could pick back up the 7/7 with this, but then this turns into a 3/3 or something. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh, hang on. No. Yes! If I tap carefully, I can play the Vivisector here and give my 7/7 Menace. They'll have to double block. Great. Actually, I don't even have to tap carefully. This one, please. Alright, this card doing business for the first time this draft. Good work. Doing business? What does that even mean? Doing the business? Giving opponent the business? Doing good business? Getting down to business? Something like that. I don't think this deck is all that incredible. It's nice that we're at 4-1. I'd like some more lands, obviously. But this is a fine opening hand. These guys are going to take a little bit of work, a little bit of nurturing to get online. I think you play the Splatter Goblin first. No, you probably play the Vivisector because it's sort of tempting. Like, oh, it's a 2-1. You want to attack with it, right? Whereas a 2-2, well, you might want to attack, you might want to block, you never know. I think, though, that the 2-1 is kind of more useful to have as a blocker later. Interestingly, opponent is not playing anything. Red-green, slow. That's a little unusual. Red-green is usually a little bit... they're mid-rangey, I guess. They're just unlucky to have missed their 2. They're going to play some cool 3 now. Rulik Mons is a 4, right? I can't remember all the red-green stuff. Oh, I love this card. Anyway, having this card out, they know you have it, right? And can, I guess I actually want, like, Rona's Vortex, right? Yeah. I don't have any creatures that really need protecting. I don't need to fish anything back up. I just want to destroy whatever weird thing they do. If you have this down, they can kind of plan around it by not playing anything with 1 toughness. If you play this right away, they know that 1 toughness is a bad number. I mean, I'd like to get in for some damage, please. So here you go. Feels kind of bad to do that when that's not that serious a threat, but that's a ton of tempo that we've just gained. There's Rada. I mean, Extinguish the Light is lethal. Would be nice to draw that. No dice. If I swing with everything, they could, like, block here and take 5. That's probably fine. Can't block with the 1-1. Should have attacked with it if that was your plan. I guess this is just the classic Dimir aggro versus Gruul control matchup. Is that what's happening here? GG, I guess. I don't... Usually, of course, the roles are reversed in that kind of matchup. But here, it's just like, I don't know, they didn't really do anything. Nothing in their graveyard. These are the 3 spells they played all game. I curved out and attacked. That's, you know, some of that is just like, well, yeah, being player 1 is pretty cool. But also, I had a curve and they didn't really. Had too much chunky stuff in hand, I guess. Quanibello. A little slow. I don't have a 2, but I have Rager. It's good enough. Happy to see a mulligan from Quanibello. This looks like... I don't know who this is. Or is this Sorin? I guess this is probably Sorin, right? Looks like Legolas to me. Just like a blonde, nondescript face. I don't know. I think it's Sorin, though. I think I got that right. I don't often recognize too many of the Planeswalkers, or... Yeah, Sorin's a Planeswalker, right? Certainly there are Planeswalker Sorins out there. I don't know if he is in any other forms. There's like a creature Sorin or something. So Rona's Vortex is a great answer to this. And I'm happy that we'll be picking it up. Do I look like an idiot? No blocks. Okay. So they have an instant that they could cast, but of course they would rather not. That's all fair enough. Oh. Could play this instead of Micromancer, huh? Well, let's see how the trade goes first. Do I get the damage in, or do they trade? I don't really have time to cast Rona's Vortex anytime soon, so I think I'm just going to play Rona here. It's a better trade for the 3-2. And maybe threatens to block the 3-4, although I won't, the 1-2, although I won't actually. They have some trick. I'd rather they use it on the non-trampler, I guess. Yep. That's fine. So right about now, I'd like to stop playing lands so that I can hang on to them to play Rona. Ooh. Step 1 or 3? 1. Waiting for blue, probably? Okay. No other combat tricks in hand, though. That's good to know. I think we could swing with the 4-4 if we really wanted. I don't think I really want, though. I'm just going to grab Rona's Vortex. I know it didn't tap holding up blue, but I don't want to cast this unkicked, so it's fine to hold up Herbal, or that auto tapper left me the mana for Herbal Repossession. I'm not going to cast either one of them. I mean, I don't know. Topping this can actually be fine. Actually, I would, if I had a land, I might actually play it, because I'd like to be able to play the Necromass and hold up Battle Rage Blessing. Well, I guess just pass, holding up everything. In particular, 2 Battle Rage Blessings might be a surprise. We'll still take a hefty chunk of trample damage. It's like their whole damn board has trample. Guess we might as well block with the biggest creatures we can so that we take less damage while doing this. Okay. That's fine. I think. Maybe that's what I'm returning and I'm not worrying about this thing anymore. Oh, why did I play that? I was supposed to be hanging on to that for Rona. I do sort of feel like I still want more mana. Do I attack with this one? I guess they're probably not going to chump the 1/1 here, so I want the more damage. And then this is still a sufficient blocker. Why is that holding up blue? Oh, Rona's Vortex. This is a lot of damage. I don't think I can really just let it do 4 face damage to me, right? Yeah, I think I have to get rid of that. Okay. The 2/3 Trampler has shown that it doesn't have many ways to gain counters, so I'm not as worried about it as I was when they played it. Okay. So this gets to be a 4/4 once. Well, what does it get to be? Yeah, a 4/4. Okay, the land. Don't play it. Is there anything I should be getting from my graveyard? No, right? Yeah. 6 mana. Okay. Let's put them under some pressure. I would happily trade either of these for the 2/3, which looks like is what might happen. Right, they can block with the 2/3 and then also with something else to kill this. For example, here, right? Okay, that's fine too. That way also works. But I got rid of their serious threat. If I play this island, I can actually play the Tolarian Terror right now. That's worth it. Rona, you're gonna have to wait. Dumping 2 5/5s is really good. Oh, you know what? I maybe should have attacked with the 2/2 there as well. No, because I don't know. They could have just, like... Well, I don't know. Maybe I could have gotten away with something. The 4/4 trades for these two guys? Do I like that? Actually, that can't happen because then they would die to the 5/5s. Great. I mean, I guess I could do a little bit more here, but why? They get me for 5 here. If they have, like, Shivan Devastator and a land, they do kill me, I guess. Seems unlikely. They would have played Shivan Devastator a while ago. Alright, good game. Oh, I didn't have enough black. I see. Five fives. Good stat line. Are we at 6? I think we are. It's just impossible to lose in DMU. I don't know how anybody else does it. That and Neon Dynasty, the only 2 formats I've ever understood. I mean, like, that's not really true, of course. I feel like I understood, you know, Crimson Vow just fine. That was the format that was, you know, playing when I rejoined Magic Arena after a hiatus of a year or so. And they ran it a lot, and I got to know the cards. And I think I understood, you know, what decks were trying to do, what's good, what's bad. You know, I'm no top player or anything, but I was fine. I get the format. But it's very clear to me how you could lose in Crimson Vow. No matter how good you are, you just lose if your opponent plays some bomb, and there's a million of them. If you don't draft enough bombs, you don't draw your bombs, opponent just like plays Dreadfeast Demon, and usually you lose. Certainly I have, you know, games where I've played Dreadfeast Demon and lost, games where I've beaten a Dreadfeast Demon, but on average, you know, a card like Dreadfeast Demon is what decides a lot of the games in Crimson Vow, and whoever draws it first wins. That's a nice card to have. More red-white shit. Who said you guys could play in this format? I'll try to take the trade here. If they Furious Bellow me, oh well, not much I could have done about it. Oh, they're not going to offer. Okay. Well, a 4/4 will be nice to have. I don't expect it'll last that long. They're likely to be running Destroy Evil, I imagine. Ah, stop moving around! Is there some reason to block the other way? Take up the shield and Furious Bellow both don't matter. I don't think they're going to have much of anything else. Alright. Great. Could play the Micromancer, but it doesn't really threaten to block right now, and that's sort of important. If they don't find another planes, they actually can't really attack. And that's a very valuable thing to me. Great. We already knew they didn't have a combat trick, or they would have used one last turn. Boy, I sure can play a lot of stuff this turn if I want, to hit myself in the face for 2 over and over. I have no idea what to do. How much does my life matter? I need to get creatures on the board, clearly. Can I really hit myself for 4? I guess so. Gonna have to do something about that flyer. But I'm protected on the ground all of a sudden, which I wasn't before. This is a potential solution to the flyer. And I guess I just play it, right? I can't afford to, like, make some weird attack. Well, I can, because I have shore up, right? So swing with the 5/5, I guess? They let it in, obviously. But I need to be fairly pushy here, because I don't have a lot of time. Now they think, great, my 2/2 can attack. Okay, there's still scary stuff happening. I guess I shoot myself for 3? Lets me swing with this, which is pretty good, I think. Let's tap blue and blue. I guess it doesn't matter, because I have to spend it all on this anyway. Actually, you know, I could attack with more here, right? This also has menace. Although, they kind of want to make that block, right? This I'd be okay with a trade, I think. Actually... No, I can't attack with too many creatures because they can just choose to let it all in, right? It's only 13? And then they could have a counter... they can only counterattack for 2. Yeah, let's go for this. I have Battle Rage Blessing if they do anything too funky. And I really, like, need to apply damage to them here. Okay. These creatures can die, that's fine. If they've drawn damage, you know, what can I do? I knew they didn't have it a minute ago. Ugh. Okay. Do I win? I think I win, right? Because... block like this. Battle Rage Blessing. They're tapped out. Vortex. Their blocker. Yeah. Oh man, stop giving me these. I mean, it's gonna stop because the draft is over. But like, stop. I don't want any more of these like red-white games where they're just hitting me, and I'm like, I know, I'll shoot myself in the head for 9 to like get ahead. It's very nerve-wracking. It's a delicate balance, I guess, is what I would say. But we did it. 7 wins again. All right, we got to name this one. Shoot myself for 9. There you go. That's the deck. I don't know if 9 is exactly how much we paid, but I think it is, right? Like, maybe it's only 8, but we resolved like at least 2 Ragers that game, right? And I know we spent 3 Phyrexian mana as life with the Defiler over the course of the game, I'm pretty sure. Because I know I played the 1 and the 4 the first turn. And then later I think I played the Rager for Phyrexian as well. So, yeah, I mean, we'll say 8. Maybe it was only 7, but it was a lot. All right, well, cool. I don't really think this deck is all that special. It's missing a lot of the cool stuff you would like the deck to have, but it has just enough of the like kind of decent workhorses like Phyrexian Ragers. Especially, I think Phyrexian Ragers were great here. You know, the Necromancers were good pretty much every game. The 4s were pretty good. Micromancer was always on the spot to draw what I needed. Never played Urborg Repossession a single time. No, that's not true. I picked something up once, right? The Worm, I think. Still, a pretty mediocre card in this deck. Battle Rage Blessings were as good as I hoped they would be. There's Hector and Splatter Goblin. I mean, this was all just filler. It did kind of what you would expect. Never even drew Atrocity, I don't think. So can't really rate that card. Rona. Only played it once or twice. I think once it made them concede because it was a decent creature, and the other time they just killed it and it didn't really matter. So not exactly the star of the show. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.